Hello and welcome back to Path of Radiance 0% Growths. We are about to do Chapter 16. Chapter 15, our MVP was Stefan, despite the fact that... Well, actually, I think he got like 3 kills. But yeah, despite the fact that we recruited him mid-chapter. So we did not do a lot of combat in that chapter. We did get a lot of bonus experience, though, 980. And speaking of bonus experience, that's one of the things I have got to spend while I do base stuff, so I will be right back and then talk about that. Alright, so this time I did things a little bit differently than I have before in that there's more stuff that I just went ahead and did off screen and I'll just talk about rather than showing on screen, because I don't think like seeing the promotion animations, for example, is very interesting. Let's talk about, first of all, our new units, which are Mod and Moorim. So, Mod, as you can see, I have promoted to a level 1 Sage. I talked about intending to do this, and I went ahead and did it. Once he arrived and I, rechecked his stats, they are certainly not amazing, but they're actually, like, alright. If you compare to Ileana, unpromoted, he has very similar stats in a lot of respects. He's got 1 more strength, I want to say 2 more magic. Let's see, Ileana has like 8 magic. Yeah, Ileana has 1 strength, 8 magic, 9 speed. 3 defense. Tormod, they have the same HP at 20. Tormod has 2 strength. I want to say 10 magic, 9 speed, 4 defense, a little bit less res. Anyway, so Tormod is, he's still, like, he's not that fast. He's not that, he doesn't hit that hard. He's not, like, super durable, but compared to my other healing options, it does have, like, edges in all of those areas. And then the real kicker, of course, is celerity, which allows him to move to extra spaces. This is really, really, really nice. Now, granted, he is stuck on E rank staves, so that's something I'm going to have to work on, and I don't expect to be using him as my only healer in general, but I will be in this chapter, because we have some somewhat limited deployment slots and some other stuff to be doing other than just healing, so yeah, this chapter he will be the only healer deployed, but in general, I'm expecting I'll probably continue to use Riss, but yeah, my goal is to get him to the point where he can be my primary healer. I don't know how realistic that is. Really, he needs to get to C. I think it's C for Physic. Yeah, if he can get to Physic, it'll be pretty good to go. So yeah, Tormod, gonna be useful here, certainly more so than in a normal Gross playthrough, where despite the presence of celerity, he really is just like too far behind. Because that's the thing, like I said, yeah, his stats compare slightly favorably to Ileana's, but Ileana joins way earlier, and that's just to say nothing of Soren, who by this point, in a normal playthrough may well have promoted with much better stats at that point, so but yeah, he'll be good here. And then we've got Moorim. So Moorim is Moorim, I don't know, but he is basically our new frontliner. He's got the Demi-Band equipped right now, but you can see what his stats are without it. He comes with the Demi-Band, which is, of course, a really valuable item that will leave on him for the foreseeable future. But I have wondered about like the viability of strategies involving like trading the Demi-Band around, but I suspect that's going to be just a little bit too hard to coordinate on units that don't have Canto. Anyway, so yeah, he's got excellent speed. Obviously not best in class because Stefan has 25, but still very good speed. Significantly better than Titania or Kieran, as mentioned in the previous chapter. If not for the Demi-Band, he would double them. The -1 speed penalty is unfortunate, but still 17 speed's very good. there's a lot of enemies that he can double. 23 strength, or even just 20 strength after the Demi-Band debuff is also very, very good. 29 attack, compares favorably to, like, well, actually doesn't compare favorably to Kieran using a fully forged steel axe, but I mean, you know, he's doing that with the 9 might claw. I mean, that the fact that it is a 9 might claw, like, doesn't matter. It is what it is. But the point is that, like, he has very good damage output, especially given that he's also got the high speed. 15 skill after the debuff is not, like, amazing, but it's certainly good enough for now. And the claws have a high hit rate, so he doesn't really have an issue there. Obviously, he's got a ton of HP at 45. 14 defense isn't quite as much as you might, like, it might seem like. Like, he definitely takes damage, and if you just, like, send him out there to fight, like, a whole mess of enemies and don't heal him, he will die eventually. But it's still like very bulky, and it's still more defense than anybody else that we have, save for I guess Gatry has as much as Demi-Band Moorim, but it's basically it's beating out everybody except Mordecai, who does have a little bit more defense. And then 8 res is actually, or 7 res after the Demi-Band is actually pretty good for like a Tiger. It's I mean, we've got other units who have more res, but it's not really his selling point. But he's not just going to get blown up by mages or anything. Not that mages are generally super scary in this game anyway. Anyway, all around, fantastic unit right now. Probably, like, between Stefan and him, Stefan definitely has the better offense. He's got, like, he's going to double absolutely everything. He's going to crit a lot. He has access to more damage output depending on what weapon he uses. But Moorim, like I said, he's a lot more durable. He's got more movement. So, which of them is, like, the better actual, like, combat character right now, I think is debatable. I would actually probably say Moorim, but I'm not positive about that. Anyway, so those are our new units. What else is there to talk about? Well, I already mentioned that I did promote Tormod. I forged a new lance for Marcia, and the reason I did that rather than forging an axe, what is even the reason? I don't remember. I guess I already have steel for Titania and for Kieran, and Jill, I think, doesn't need the steel forge quite as much as Marcia right now. The other option was to forge for Stefan, actually. But right now, he kind of gets the job done with just a steel sword. He's got the iron forge. He's got the Vague Kadi. The Vague Kadi has 12 might. A forged steel sword has 13 might. You can put more hit on it, but he's got tons of skill anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And Vague Kadi has the crit as well as the defense bonus. So, I mean, the Vague Kadi is right now really... The reason to forge a steel sword would mostly be to not have to use the Vague Kadi if you needed the damage, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, other things to talk about, skills. Let's see. I gave Vantage... I took Astra off of Stefan. I think Astra is, like, arguably detrimental just because of the weapon use stuff. I gave him instead Vantage and Guard. So, Vantage is always active in Path of Radiance. Guard is skill percentage based. He's got 27 skill. If we compare that to everybody else, the next highest right now is Moorim with 15. I mean, it's just not even, like, there's no comparison. So the combination of the two is intended to help Stefan with his durability by allowing him to both, cancel. Well, I say cancel because it's called cancel in Radiant Dawn, but guard, you know, on the first attack on player phase before he makes his double attack, or to Vantage guard when he gets attacked during enemy phase. So, I mean, you know, how important is this really? Not that important, but, you know, it's something. And then we got another Occult Scroll, which I gave to Kieran. No surprise there, so now both of our Paladins have Soul. I guess the only other thing to mention is that I think did we really talk about Makalov? I guess we did. But I do think, given enough deployment slots, I would have probably promote Makalov. I'm pretty sure I do have the BXP to do it. You know, I got 1600 BXP left after raising Tormod all the way from level 7 to level 21. I'm not 100% certain 1600 is enough to go from level 10 to 21, but it's at least close. But you know, right now we're actually hurting for deployment slots. There's several characters I would like to deploy that I don't get to in this chapter. So Makalov, I'm guessing, will never actually get deployed. Maybe in chapter 17 because you get all those reinforcements. But I don't know if I'm going to want to. Well, maybe I will dump the BXP on him because I don't know who else I would dump it on. Maybe like Riss. Yeah. Anyway, so that's probably more jibber jabber than anybody really wanted. Let's get on to the chapter. Right, so in terms of who we're bringing, Ike, Stefan, Moorim, Kieran, Titania, Laith, Volk, Tormod, Marcia, Jill, and Soth. So let's talk about why that is. So this is a Seas map. We're in the mansion of Duke Oliver, although the man himself, of course, is not here. Instead, it's defended by Kim Marcy, which I think is like Finnish or something. Anyway, yeah, so the thing that makes the map interesting is that there's 3 different treasure rooms. There's one here, one up here, and then one over here, as well as Devdan over here, who you can recruit. And trying to complete all those objectives without, like, slowing down the seas is a pretty interesting challenge. And is the reason that we're bringing Soth again. I have to say, I'm floored that this is the 3rd time I'm deploying Soth. Like, I just did not expect things to go this way, but hey, I mean, you know, it's interesting to find reasons to do stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I would like to be deploying Mordecai. I'd like to be deploying another healer, but we do not have enough deployment slots for all that, so we got to make do with this team. But they can get the job done, so. Let's get started. So, the first thing we're going to do is, Moorim is just going to lead the charge by coming up and attacking this guy. He sometimes doubles this guy, doesn't this time. It doesn't really matter, though, because the guy will die on enemy phase. Then we are going to rescue Stefan forward using Marcia and Titania. And we're really just trying to get like everybody forward as much as possible. Then we're actually gonna have Laith shove Marcia forward, and then Kieran is gonna come rescue Laith, and Jill gonna drop her off. Then we're gonna have Tormod come up, get shoved by Volk. Soth is gonna come forward, and Ike is going to shove Volk. Now, depending on how this enemy phase goes, there's a couple different ways I might need to approach the coming turn, but hopefully the details won't matter too much to the big picture. Yeah, okay, you can already see here, Moorim definitely capable of taking damage. Granted, he's not expected to take that much damage here. He didn't dodge as much as you would probably expect him to, but nonetheless. Okay, so now we're going to... We need to take out these three guys. Volk here, 16 damage. Okay, so Volk can take out this Myrmidon, which is great. So we're gonna do is we're gonna have Stefan swing around, take this guy out. So you can see with the steel sword, like he doesn't really have too much trouble one-rounding enemies. I mean, I've got other swords on him in case, but you pretty much can just use the steel sword right now. Anyway, so then we're gonna have Lath come up and hit this guy. And we're gonna have Tormod heal up Moorim. And he's just gonna continue to charge forward, take out this guy over here. And then Volk, as mentioned, he got shoved by Ike, which means he can get around to the other side of this guy. Is going to take this guy out. Alright, and now I'm going to do some more rescue dropping with our Kanto units. Starting with Stefan. And following up with, actually, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not... Yeah, okay, we do need to rescue Lath. I'm gonna do that. Potentially I could have just had Stefan take out the low health guy and Lath take out the axe fighter to not have to do that, and then I could have rescued Tormod, but it doesn't really matter anyway. Tormod will get where he needs to go. Specifically, he'll be able to heal Moorim this turn. Again. Alright, so we're going to take this guy out with Lath. Get a gamble scroll, hooray, hooray. Definitely care about that. Heal Moorim again. And Moorim is just going to continue his charge. Nope. And that puts him just outside of the range of this sniper, but in range of this Armor Knight. And this Armor Knight... I mean, I wouldn't necessarily mind going into range of the sniper, but... gonna have that option. Then we're gonna have Volk come up and shove Stefan. It's gonna get him in range to take out this mage. Let's go cancel, or guard. Sorry. Okay, then we're gonna do some more rescue dropping. Specifically, we need to... grab Volk like so. And then do likewise with Tormod. And these two will just keep making their way over. So now comes the part where the variance will increase, or we're about to get to that part. When we get into this central room, a lot of stuff that can happen. I mean, that's not to say that I think my approach to this chapter is unreliable. I think it is pretty reliable, but it's just that we can have to... depending on like the enemy stats and things, it can play out in some different ways. One question is whether Moorim can double this guy. He cannot. That being said, that guy will run away for healing, because I've seen this happen because Moorim sometimes just misses him. So we may still actually want to have Moorim attack him. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have Laith come up and break this door. So there are 6 chests on this map, 2 in this room, 2 in this room, and 2 in this room. And there's only 1 set of chest keys carried by this guy. So the reason we brought Soth and Volk is we can send each of them to one of these rooms, and then we can send somebody with the chest keys to the 3rd room. That is the idea. So we're going to start out this room by having Titania attack this guy. And then Kieran, finish him off. And pick up the chest key. Chest keys, I should say. And then ultimately the plan is to take these chest keys and use them to open the chests in this room. Because that's the hardest one for our thieves to reach. Meanwhile, we want to heal Moorim, we want to take this guy out, we want to take this guy out, and we want to take this guy out. Let's start with... I think probably... Well, let's double check to make sure Marcia is capable of taking this guy out. Yep, okay. So we're gonna have Jill attack this guy. And then hang around, and we're gonna give another kill to Volk. Volk utility. And then Marcia will pick up this kill. And Stefan, take this guy out. Oh, I just realized I meant to give Stefan... Stefan, of course, has crap luck, as I think I've mentioned. I meant to give him... I do have a goddess icon, or an Ashera icon, I should say, in my convoy, and I forgot to give it to him. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem, but famous last words. Okay, and then just want to make sure this guy can't reach Tormod, which is easily done. I think we are going to go ahead and just hit this guy. Because we can't reach those 2 mages in the back anyway. Yeah, that guy will run away and get healing, and we'll kill him with Stefan next turn. Which is, I've had to do before anyway, so it should work out. Yeah, I mean, I could have taken out this mage, but the sniper is scarier. They have like a built-in crit bonus. Also, this sets up the likelihood that Moorim will be where I want him to be for Tormod to heal him, to set Tormod up for the following turn when he has to recruit Devdan. Who's definitely not Danved, by the way, for anybody who's unclear on that particular point. Which is another reason that the celerity is helpful, is because we can set Tormod up outside of Devdan's range and just run in and talk to him the next turn. It's really quite nice. Okay, so now we're gonna have Laith take out this archer. We do want to take out these enemies to make things safe for Soth to come into this room. So it's gonna do that, and then we're gonna finish this guy off with Kiran. And run out with the chest key. Meanwhile, Soth is gonna run in and get the items over the next 2 turns. Yeah, so let's take this guy out. Oh, oops, I forgot to... I was going to attack from here, so that this guy would suicide into Stefan. Not a huge deal, but certainly a mistake. Alright, yeah, so Moorim is going to come over here and take out the mage. And that... will allow Tormod to come over here and heal him and be exactly 8 squares away from Devdan. So you can talk to him next turn and recruit him. The recruit conditions for Devdan, if you're not familiar, are basically you talk to him with one of the kids in the army. So it's like Tormod, Soren, Mist, Rolf. I don't think Jill counts, even though she's basically a kid. Maybe just because she has too much movement. I don't know. But I want to say there's a 5th... Tormod, Soren, Mist, Rolf. Maybe it is Jill, but I don't think so. Soth. Soth is the other one. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this door with Volk. Obviously, he's gonna pick up those 2 chests in the next 2 turns. And... go ahead and knock this guy out. Over here, Marcia doesn't really need to attack this guy, but she's going to anyway. Just staying out of Devdan's range, so nothing weird happens. And we're going to trade the chest key over... I don't think this guy reaches Titanium now. Care what weapon we have equipped, but yeah, we're gonna trade the chest key over to advance it a little bit further. Ow. Okay, let's grab this chest. And let's grab this chest. And I think, let's see here. Well, we're definitely going to do that. Your attack 16. Alright, so Tormod does survive against this guy. 1 HP. It's good enough. We're gonna recruit Devdan and not attack. Heal. Maybe Danved can... Yeah, okay. Dan, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Devdan. I made the classic blunder. Okay, so now... Because I didn't have Stefan kill this guy last turn... This guy here is a little scary because he's got a crit rate on him, and while it doesn't look scary against Moorim, it definitely does look scary against Stefan, although admittedly his hit rate's pretty low right now, and normally it's a little bit higher. But I was going to send Moorim over to the left, but this time we're just going to have Moorim take this guy out so that Stefan does not have to concern himself with that. And Steel Sword will not one-round the boss, but he won't have any problems picking up the kill between this turn and next turn. So we're going to just go ahead and get this guy out of the way. And then you may have seen me counting out, like, Ike goes to here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is one space short. So we're going to shove him with Lathe, though of course we got to get Kieran out of the way for that. But what we're going to do, actually, is send Titania over here to use the chest key. Kieran just going to come in here, and maybe we use his help to finish off the boss. Maybe we don't. Doesn't probably matter. Shove Ike. Okay, so he didn't finish him off. We'll probably just give the kill to somebody else then. It's fine. Oh, that thief didn't escape because I had to use Devdan to finish this guy off. Whoops. Alright, that's fine, probably. Yep, it is totally fine. Although, is it fine? Gotta get the chest key to Jill or Marcia. How do we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we do that, then we trade it here. Oh, maybe we'll use Tormod to open one of the chests. Yeah, that should work. Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll come over here. We didn't even need to trade it from Titanium, but whatever. It's a little sad because we don't get to use Tormod's heal this turn. But it's just one turn of weapon EXP bolting. Physic. Over here we get Silver Lance, and down here we get Draco Shield. And then Stefan is just gonna back off and take this guy out, because why not? Obviously he needs to train his sword rank. It's only S. And that obviously isn't cutting it. Kill the racist. I do believe that should do it for this chapter. I don't think there's anything else we care about doing. So yeah, that's chapter 16 in 7 turns. So I don't really think like we could do. We definitely could. You could definitely can't do that chapter in fewer than 7 turns if you want to get like all the chests. In my opinion, I don't really think that's practical. Like even if I was willing to kill Devdan, I wouldn't have been like much further ahead of where I was with my units, and I don't think I could have gotten in and like opened the chests like on both of the chests on turn 6. I do think you could probably do it in 6 turns if you were willing to ignore the chests, though. But you know, I think I'm pretty happy with the solution. I think it's a pretty fun chapter. I like the sort of split attention. The only thing I would say from just sort of a level design perspective is I think the beginning of the chapter, that hallway, you could just start the player further forward, because you spend like the first 2 turns. Well, I guess really just the first turn, like charging everybody forward in a way that is like not terribly interesting. I think part of the reason it's laid out that way, aside from not just having like a blank corner of the map, is because there are reinforcements that come in the lower left, which I don't think we actually saw those reinforcements come in. Maybe they don't come in until like turn 8 or turn 9, but I'm assuming that part of the logic is they want to have like a certain amount of space. But you could always just delay them by a turn, you know, or you could just start the player in like the middle of the hallway, you know, as if they had moved in a little ways, and then, you know, have the reinforcements spawn in the back, you know, whatever. It's a pretty minor gripe though. Like I said, I think it's a cool chapter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next time will be chapter 17. My intention is to break that up into individual parts, so it'll be 17.1, 17.2, 17.3, and 17.4. So look forward to 17.1 next. Until then.